Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Donation with Gift of Hope Season 2. This is an interactive show where you, the viewers, can call in and ask us any questions that you might have about the organ and tissue donation community. We are also streaming live each week at cantv.org/hotline, and you can join in our conversation by dialing 312-738-1060. So I know a lot of you have been hearing the commercials and we're like, talk donation. What kind of donation? Are we talking about donation of charity, donation of, time? What are we talking about? We're actually talking about a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of charity to fellow man, woman, child, and also education about organ and tissue donation. Each week, a special guest and I will talk about the importance of organ and tissue donation and especially what minorities need to know about this topic and the process. Ultimately, our sole purpose is to give you enough information to dispel the many myths and misconceptions while helping our viewers to understand that Gift of Hope is an honorable community partner, and we recognize that minorities have a lot of fear of the healthcare industry, and many of those are very, very well founded. However, over the last 30 years, with advances in modern medicine, transplant physicians, our hospitals, religious and community partners, Gift of Hope has helped our community to change tragedies to triumph while supporting donor families and recipients and those waiting. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with our very special guest for the evening, and you'll see who she is then. See you in a bit.
Nikki's donations made a huge impact on a lot of people. This one right here, sitting next to me especially. When Gift of Hope came to me and asked me for the donation, it made me feel very confident knowing that I can give my baby's heart. This is Nikki's heart beating inside Tanisha's chest.
So when I heard this pounding, like, what is that noise? And the nurse said to me, that's your heart.
I carried Nikki for 9 months. Now Tanisha's gonna carry her the rest of her life.
Say yes to donation. Start the conversation with your loved ones today.
Good evening, and our special guest for tonight is Miss Tarsha Patton. Welcome, Miss Patton.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Here.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here. Oh,
No
wait,
problem.
let's pause this. Okay, we want them to hear us. So, we're going to get right started with the show.
Okay.
What is your connection to donation?
My son Jermaine, he passed away 4 years ago, and 4 years ago in May. I had Kevin come up to me in Loyola Hospital, and he asked me did I want to donate my son's organs, and I say yes, of course.
Wow.
Everybody needs a second chance in life, and I most definitely wants to help.
Wow.
So.
Wow. So, is this a conversation that you had with Jermaine before this incident?
Yes, me, Jermaine, and my other kids as well, we had this conversation, and he wasn't able to sign up to be an organ donor because he was 16.
Okay.
But he most definitely wanted to help. He was one of those kids that loved to help volunteer at churches and everything, and he said, Ma, and Christian, went to church every Sunday. If I wasn't there, he was there.
Wow.
If New Year's Day, Jermaine was at church.
Wow. So faithful at such a young age.
Faithfully, yeah. So he knew exactly what he wanted to do at 16.
Wow.
So knowing that I help people for a second chance at life, that's most definitely something that he is watching on me right now, and it's like, thanks, Mom. Thanks for honoring my dream of helping others. That's what he wanted to do.
Wow, how amazing is that?
Yeah.
How did your family feel about this? Was this a conversation that you have throughout your family, or was there support there? How did all that go?
It wasn't a conversation that I had with my family. My family didn't really even think about organ donation.
Wow.
They didn't really get the information and knowledge of it until my son passed away. I became an organ donor when I was 18. And it's on my license, always has been, and I never changed it. And my family, they just wasn't, they didn't know anything about it. So when my son passed, they really started getting information on it and like, hey, I want to be an organ donor. Let me sign up, make sure it's on my license. And
Wow.
now they very supportive of it, and they was like, okay, any way that I can help, most definitely is going to help. You know?
Wow. And that's definitely something that we've discussed on this show before, is
Yeah.
that a lot of people don't think about this topic until it affects you or one of
Right.
your loved ones on
Right.
one side of the of the
Right.
process or the other, either waiting or, you know, becoming a donor, having, you know, a loved one become a donor.
Right, right.
So that's really interesting. What about your community? How did this story and this incident impact your community at that time? Because like we said, this was 4 years ago. So
Yeah, so at that time when my son was a very church-going young man, so a lot of his friends he brung into the church. So a lot of them now are they sign up to be organ donors.
wow.
So it impacts them a
because of
lot
him.
just because of him. And it also changed his father's way of thinking about organ donation. He signed up to be an organ donor as
Wow.
well. So, you know, like I say, just from his story alone had a lot of people say, hey, you know what? I want to help save, if I leave this world, I want to make sure that I'm able to save someone's life as well, give them a second chance at life. So a lot of his friends right now go to church, is in church, and they signed up to be organ donors. So
Wow.
the community actually really came together, and I'm from the west side of Chicago.
Okay.
And a lot of people they don't know nothing about it. And that's my way of bringing awareness to it when I talk to them and go to the church, and I make sure everybody knows about it. You know, that's the best thing. It's always a good thing to help another person.
Wow, and that's amazing to think that he's shifting the perspective of not only his peers, but, you know, even adults, even after he has left this earth. And that's really, really what this whole process is about, and about you know, how a person's able to leave their legacy.
Right.
And that sounds like a lot of what Jermaine was able to do within your community and, you know, within his school community. And so
Right.
that's very, very honorable. And, you know, it's amazing that you're able to help him do that as a mom. So
Yeah.
kudos to you.
Thanks.
So, what was the impact? What has the impact been today? So, what are the, you know, kind of lasting impact? How has the legacy been able to continue? You know, from Jermaine.
So when Jermaine passed a year later, I started a foundation called Jermaine's Healthy Heart Foundation. So I'm actually right now just bringing awareness to the community, and I go into the high schools and the grammar schools, and I speak to the young kids about organ donation, and most definitely go into the high schools and speak to the older kids and let them know, you know, donation is a big part, that you can help someone that's in need, even your family, you know. They can have someone that need organ transplant and don't know nothing about getting on a wait list to become an organ donor.
We see it every day.
And that's a big thing for me to go into the schools and talk to them about that, because that gives them more education on it and what they need to do. And I started the foundation. It's building, and I hope that one day that we'll be able to get into the schools and do free echocardiogram screenings.
Wow.
And from elementary schools to high schools, because where it starts at is in elementary schools, and they start playing sports at a young age. So when you playing sports, you know, a lot of hospitals, they don't like, or, you know, to do EKG screenings on young kids because they're afraid of it.
Right,
But
so it's not that
our
common.
kids now, if you catch it at a young age, you'll be able to help that young person then to make sure that their heart is healthy and they can play sports.
Right,
You know,
right.
I wish there was something that I knew back then that I could have, you know, helped Jermaine at the time.
Right, and I mean that's definitely something that has progressed. I mean, even since I was a young kid,
Yeah.
sports are, you know, becoming more and more intense. So, you know, for you to realize that that's something that we can, you know, kind of realize earlier and test and, you know,
Right,
identify earlier.
Right.
That's really amazing that your organization is out there doing that. So, looks like we got a caller here. Go ahead and put the caller through. What's your name and what's your question? Thanks for calling Let's Talk Donation.
Good evening, ladies. My name's Paula. How you doing?
Good evening, Miss
Hello.
Paula.
Well, you're sitting watching two little angels on the TV right now.
Oh, thank you so much.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for your loss for your baby next to you.
Thank you.
But you know what? Your baby lives on. With
Yes,
that
it
little
does.
organ that baby put in that next person's body, your baby's living on. Every time I go and do my driver's license, I always mark in the back, take my organs, take whatever I got to keep this world going, to
Yes.
help another life be. You are an angel, young lady.
Thank
On the
you.
TV, I'm going to get off this phone and pray for your loss for your baby, and I appreciate it. Everything you do. You
Thank
are the
you.
most important organization on CAN TV. Donate your organs, everybody. Let's keep the world going, and God bless you, ladies.
Thank
Have
you.
a great evening.
Wow,
You
thank
too.
you so much for that call and that comment, Miss Paula. That was an amazing sentiment that she,
Yes.
explained, because you and your family and your baby, you all are the heroes, and you all are the ones that drive this process every day. Because I mean, we can do all the education we want about this, but if
Yes.
people are not saying yes to this process, then people are not getting that second chance at life. Like, I know our viewers have heard my mother's story before, so
Right.
on this end, we are so grateful for what donor families and what donors do for recipients and those that, are really looking for that second chance at life.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that caller and that comment. Very,
Yes.
very important.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Ooh, that was awesome.
Yes, it was.
So we were talking about your foundation. So can you talk a little bit of, in addition to going into the schools, I know that you all do a lot of really other cool things in the community to continue Jermaine's legacy. Can you tell me a little bit about a couple of those things?
Yeah, so after it'd be 3 years now. So every year I do a basketball game. Either it's around his birthday in March. I do a basketball game. So a lot of his friends that's in the that he went to school with, that's in the community, they come and they play ball. So I created a Triple J team. So Triple J team is Jermaine's nickname when he played ball.
Wow.
So his team, and I get a bunch of older guys, they play against the younger guys, and they play ball. So I do a whole little 4 quarters of the game, and at the end, I was like, whoever's my MVP of the game. Since I've been doing the game, it's been Jermaine's Triple J team that has been winning
Wow.
every year.
I wonder who's giving them those powers. I bet you it might
That's
be
Jermaine. As they say, Jermaine was always that coach when he was playing on the court. And you can go on Facebook and you'll see his friends like, yeah, Jermaine, I thank you for giving me this skill,
Wow.
this crossover. I was like, he taught you a crossover? I was like, Jermaine, he was good in every sport, but his main sport that I loved that he played was football.
Wow.
He was a very good football player, and I'm going to do a football team probably this summer, and have a couple of his friends. They play on the team, but every year I do the football games. Every year I'm always honoring him. Every year.
Awesome.
So it's every year that I'm doing something, and that's not going to stop. So.
Good. So speaking of the basketball tournament, backstage you were telling me a little bit about a very special person that played in one of the tournaments. So can you tell me about who that person was and about how that connection to that group of people has been for you?
So the young man who plays on the team with him was the young man that was with him the day he collapsed on the basketball court. So he plays every year in the game with him, and he said he plays for Jermaine, and he wears a shirt of Jermaine's when he play in the game every year.
Wow.
So he's a very special young man to me, and his name is David, and he was there with him through everything.
Wow.
So I love all his friends. His friends is always there for me. They come to everything that I do. And I also got to say that I love Christ the King High School so much because they honored me with Jermaine's diploma last year.
Wow.
And his class walked across the stage last year, and I walked across the stage for him last year with his diploma.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
What an awesome way to continue to honor him, and because I mean he's still down here doing work. He's still he's down here continuing life and helping people with that second chance at life. Yeah. So you also told me a little bit about his recipients that you were able to connect with. So can you tell me a little bit about how that experience has been?
I love them. Tariq and Cecilia and Karen, I love each and last one of them. So they go to the cemetery, they visit Jermaine. Wow. They come to the events that I did. Cecilia's husband, he played in the basketball game last year for me. And it was just so lovely to see him out there on that court, and Cecilia was cheering him on and everything. So it's a very good connection. Tariq, he comes to the basketball game, and any event that he invites me to, I go, I attend.
That's awesome.
So we keep in touch. We never lose touch.
That's awesome. And so several people got 2 of his organs, right? So there was a double
3,
lung,
yeah, double lung, yeah.
and
There's
then
3
a
of 'em.
kidney and pancreas,
Yes.
and so you know
Yeah.
the way that he was able to help people, and you know sometimes people need more than one organ,
Yeah.
and so he was able to really help save those people's lives
Yeah.
in an even bigger way than we even can understand sometimes and really think about. So that's an amazing thing to think about, that one donor can really save that many people's lives.
Yeah, yeah.
So with this new law in place, with 16 and 17-year-olds being able to register as organ donors, what is one thing that you would really, really want them to know? Because like you said in the beginning, when Jermaine passed, he was only 16, so he wasn't able to register himself. But you knew that this is what he wanted. So with this new law in place, what would you tell a 16, 17-year-old about registering themselves to be an organ tissue donor?
What I would tell them that it's very important to want to continue to help in life. You leave this world today or tomorrow. You know that you were able to help someone. What I would, and most definitely what I would tell them, that to pass along the information to your friends, to your families, that organ donation is a big part of everyone's life, because it's like a family. It's like you helping each other as family to continue life goes on, and that's a very big deal to me. And when I go into the schools and I talk to them about it, that's something that I express more to them, like, and I tell the story about my son, and they go right down there and they sign up. And a lot of kids that I know now that's 17 has signed up to be organ donors.
That's awesome.
And that's something that I just love, and that I will continue to express to them, young adults, that organ donation is a big part of everybody's life. Even your family, because what if they need a kidney?
You never know.
And you are that person that's a match to your auntie or your uncle who may need that. Living organ donation is also a big part.
Yep.
You can help. And if I was able to pass a kidney or anything that someone needs, I most definitely is going to help.
Yeah, and you know what, you brought up a really, really important point that you said about not only people registering themselves, but having the conversation with your loved ones. And that's what the commercial says. It says, have the conversation with your loved ones today. And, even if you don't go to the DMV and put it on your driver's license yourself, the least we ask you to do is let your loved ones know your wishes, so that if and when that time comes, they don't have to wonder about what your wishes were. They know and can say confidently, this is what my loved one would have wanted. Because when this time comes, it's going to be a tragic time.
Right.
So for you to, leave your family or loved ones not knowing what you would have wanted, it's kind of like a gift that you can leave them if you do let them know what it is what you would have wanted. So please, if you do nothing else, have the conversation with your loved ones today. Make your wishes known. Have the conversation around the dinner table. It doesn't have to be something scary. It doesn't have to be something bad.
Right.
Just find out what your loved ones want to know. We talk about everything else. We plan for everything else, right?
Yeah, we do.
Why not plan for the one thing that's promised,
That's
to
right.
all of us at one point? So, my final question is, what does organ and tissue donation mean to you?
To me, is that you give a second chance at life for someone else, and for them to be able to live their life. It's the best thing for someone to do, because organ donation is a big part. Like I said, it's a family. You got to have that hope that, okay, when I leave here, I'm able to save someone else's life, and you can, you just don't be afraid of it. Just don't be afraid, and put yourself out there, even, and like I said, you always got to have a conversation with your family, if anything, and 16 and 17-year-olds, something, you don't be thinking about that, and that's me when I come in to say, hey, be an organ donor.
Put it on people's radars.
Put it on there. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm just gonna let you know, hey, it's the big thing. My son saved the lives of 3 people, and they're able to continue on with life. He's not here in full body, but he's here in spirit, and
Yes,
he's here with them.
Yes, he
and he
is.
keeps them pushing. And I just want to say, like, Karen told me the story that she used to be afraid to get on rides, and when after she had her transplant, she was like, I wasn't afraid no more. I got on the ride and everything.
Wow.
I went down to Florida. We went to Disney World, and I got on that ride. I said, you know what? That's not nothing but Jermaine. Jermaine was never scared to do anything.
Wow. I fully
He was a
believe
competitor.
that.
He loved to do everything.
I totally believe in that. I feel like, traits maybe, can be transferred. And if it's nothing else, if it's not in the organ, it must be in the spirit somewhere.
Yes,
because
yes.
I totally believe that.
Yes.
One last thing. We have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
One last thing I want you to tell everybody about was after your recipients received their gift, how quick they wanted to reach out to you and what that meant to you. Because that's something that, a lot of people wonder. Do people connect with, their recipients, which you have, explained very clearly that they're now part of your family and, all of that. But how did that part of it go? How was it when they reached out to you? How did you guys kind of connect, and how did that all happen?
Well, how we connect was Gift of Hope. We all connected when they brought us together, and I met them, and when I tell you, it was like my heart was filled with joy just to see them all. I couldn't even bring myself to even bring tears down because I was just so happy inside.
Wow.
And when I met Tariq and I met his mom was crying. She was holding me so tight. And I was just so thankful that they even wanted to meet me, I didn't even have it on my mind that they wanted to meet me. And I was like, okay, I don't know if they're going to meet me or not, but I would love to meet them. And then I got that call and said, hey, Tasha, we're going to have this gathering for you and your recipients. And I was like, tears of joy. Now, those tears came down because I was just so happy to meet them. And they are my family, and there's nothing like it. Like, he's gone, but he's still here, and that's in my Tariq voice. That's what he said.
Wow.
He's gone, but he's still here. He's in me, as he said.
Wow.
And I love that. I love that he said that.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's joy.
Well, that's what all of this is about, and thank you so much for sharing your story.
No problem.
From a donor perspective, a donor family perspective side, and as a donor mom. Again, we are just so thankful as the caller. Let us know you are an angel.
Thank
You
you.
are
I
totally an
appreciate that.
angel, and your Jermaine is an angel.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
so, thank you for sharing your story. It really, really makes a difference in the community. We know that sharing your story and sharing your personal journeys through donation and transplantation are really what shift the paradigm and help people understand, that it's really important to participate in this process. So, if you have a story out there, please continue to share it. Reach out to us at Gift of Hope. You can always reach us at giftofhope.org. My email address is ofox@giftofhope.org. If you want to get in touch, want to know how to get involved, want to know how to tell your story, want to know how to help spread this message in the community, please feel free to reach out to us. April is National Donate Life Month, so we're taking extra special time to let everybody know about organ tissue donation, and then also honor all of our donors and our heroes that have saved so many lives. So our call to action this week and every week is to register to be an organ tissue donor on your driver's license if you have not already. And if nothing else, please have the conversation with your loved ones about this topic and about the importance of organ and tissue donation. So again, thank you so much for being here tonight.
No problem. Thank you, honey.
This was awesome. And we will see you all next week on another episode of Let's Talk Donation with Gift of Hope. Thanks for joining, everyone. Bye.